Ladies and gentlemen, in my speech, at first, I'll start explaining why Team Singapore has not quite understood our model and has not quite understood what our first speaker was saying, and then I'll move on to the analysis of this model and why does it work and why Team Slovakia fulfills its purpose better than Team Singapore in this debate. This analysis will be proceeded by coming back to our arguments of moral duty and other specifics of these people, and then I will present you my third split argument, which is called compatible mindsets. So let me start out with our model, the model which Team Slovakia advocates in this debate. The thesis says that the European Union should tie its foreign aid to the rights of sexual minorities. That does not mean that we should and that we want to give the foreign aid only in case these countries cooperate, or only in case these countries strongly promote these rights of minorities. All we want to do right now is to provide the aid we've been providing, to do that, to carry on in our mission of, yes, promoting education, of, yes, promoting fundamental necessities for the people, but at the same time promoting the agenda of people which are in need. It's just like putting a small extra thing to the package, promoting the rights of sexual minorities. How do we do that? We could carry out missions. Of course, education, that is another thing. We should promote education on this topic. And there are other aspects. If some countries are willing to governmentally enforce this policy, we'll be glad to hear that, but that does not mean that we will not give these countries the fundamental aid they need in order to survive, and determined by human rights. Moving on to what Team Singapore has been saying in this debate.
So,
yes, I think I can take
if you don't tie aid and withhold it unless there's progress, how are you bringing about any change in the same governments that you've characterized as being patriarchal and parochial down to the bones?
Yes, I'll answer your point straight away. What we want to do is to understand that we have this fundamental packet of aid we are providing to the countries, and at the same time we want to add this extra thing of promoting rights of sexual minorities. That does not mean we want to halt the help we've already offered just because some countries would not like to cooperate. No, we do not want them to die. We want to support the humanitarian aid and development aid, but to add this aid of promoting rights of sexual minorities as well. Why sexual minorities? Let me come back to our first argument. Well, sexual minorities are greatly endangered in some Islamic countries. They are not respected. Their most fundamental right of life is threatened. If you told somebody that you're homosexual in a very fundamental Islamic country, you could be punished by death penalty or stoned to death. Or at least ostracized from society. And we believe that rights of these minorities have never been dealt with. Of course, we help children who are starving, we help impoverished people, and we want to carry on doing that. But at the same time, we want to promote right now the rights of people that nobody has already done, that nobody has been doing. And we think that this is a huge problem. This is something we'd like to focus on. Moving on to our next argument, the specifics. Right, so, pardon me. The European Union's got this, so let me come back to the point of why European Union. The European Union has got a unique position in the world. As our first speaker said, the European Union is viewed as one of the least aggressive, as one of the people who you want to listen to. And lots of people want to listen to European Union. In some countries, it's actually, about 60%. So this gives the European Union a nice position from where a change can be carried out. And if European Union promotes these rights, and yes, as well promotes education, because that's very important, that's fundamental for such things as human rights, we believe that then we can change this situation, the situation of people who are craving for help, who need it, and that it is our moral duty to recognize and acknowledge human rights to all the people who are in need. Let me move to my third split argument, which is called compatible mindsets. Let's imagine one thing. The more similarities you've got with another foreign country, the easier it is to carry out trade, the easier it is to have nice foreign relationships. Give me a second, sir. And the less conflicts you're likely to have with that country. Yes, sir.
You've brought up countries where there are strong religious beliefs against sexual minorities. Tell me why it is fair that you discriminate against certain religions simply to further your own agendas.
Thank you, sir. We do not want to discriminate Islam or other religions, but we think that the time in the society has come, even for fundamental religions, to acknowledge human rights and to give and grant human rights to every single being on earth. Sir, we've seen some changes. We've seen changes in Saudi Arabia. They actually, just 2 weeks ago, they let women drive, and they are an Islamic country. We think that this is just cool, that this is absolutely terrific. And these are the solutions we are looking for, and you can see that it is possible. Let me come back to my third split argument. Being in a good terms, or being more compatible with a country, means that there are less conflicts, easier relationships, which is actually in our own interest. If there are countries which acknowledge human rights, which respect human rights, and which do not disrespect or act against some minorities, then it's easier to negotiate with them. The more similar you are to somebody, the more likely you are to have a good relationship. There are certain examples, like for example, I believe Saudi Arabia. No, thank you. Since it's been promoting the rights of women and human rights as such, we've seen that our relationships with them improved. Or take the United Arab Emirates. 50 years ago, we could barely, there was almost no trade, no communication. Now, centers like Dubai and Abu Dhabi emerged. Some Western thoughts have arrived, they start respecting human rights, and look, they are our partners now. And this could be the case of any country in the world. So in the long-term run, this thesis, promoting rights of sexual minorities and tying it to our foreign aid as one package makes sense, because it's got positive consequences. It is beneficial for us in the first place, and the European Union has got this unique position to carry out this task. So let me just briefly summarize what I've been talking about. At first, in my speech, I focused on our model, and I explained to you that we want just to tie the humanitarian, this agenda of sexual minorities, promoting the rights of sexual minorities, to already existing aid. We do not want to cancel aid, and therefore we effectively want to promote the rights of sexual minorities because it is our moral duty. It is beneficial for us, and that's why I beg you to agree with the government.